What's up? Wrestling vs. Family. Triple H just dropped the hammer. Brock Lesnar has been suspended indefinitely after brutally attacking a defenseless Roman Reigns who was in handcuffs. The Beast crossed the line, and now he's paying the price. Hit subscribe now because this is massive. The most controversial suspension in WWE history just happened. Triple H had no choice but to suspend Brock Lesnar after the Beast committed one of the most vicious attacks we've ever witnessed, assaulting Roman Reigns while he was handcuffed and unable to defend himself. Let's break down this shocking development and what it means for WWE. Before we dive into the suspension, we need to understand what led to this moment. The rivalry between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns is legendary. These two titans have battled for supremacy for years. Every confrontation has been intense, every match has been brutal, but what happened on SmackDown crossed every line imaginable. The setup was already controversial. Roman Reigns was being arrested by local authorities following an altercation earlier in the show. The tribal chief was in handcuffs, being escorted through the backstage area by security and police officers. Roman was defenseless, restrained, and unable to protect himself, the most vulnerable position possible. That's when Brock Lesnar struck. The Beast incarnate appeared out of nowhere with rage in his eyes. Despite Roman being handcuffed and surrounded by security, Brock attacked with vicious intent. The scene was chaotic, brutal, and completely one-sided because Roman couldn't fight back. Brock shoved officers aside like they were nothing. He grabbed the handcuffed Roman and delivered a devastating F5 right there in the backstage area. Roman crashed hard onto the concrete floor, completely helpless to defend himself. But Brock wasn't done. Not even close. The Beast grabbed Roman again and slammed him into equipment cases. Then into a wall. Every impact was sickening because Roman couldn't brace himself or fight back with his hands restrained. This wasn't a fight. This was an assault on a defenseless man. Security and officials were powerless to stop Brock's rampage. Brock delivered multiple German suplexes to the handcuffed Roman on the unforgiving backstage floor. Each suplex was more brutal than the last. Roman's body was being destroyed, and there was nothing he could do about it. The attack went on for what felt like an eternity before security finally pulled Brock away. Medical personnel immediately rushed to Roman's aid. The tribal chief was barely conscious, visibly injured, and had to be transported to a medical facility. The severity of the attack was apparent. This wasn't just crossing a line, this was obliterating it. WWE had a serious situation on their hands. Triple H, as chief content officer, had to make a decision. The game watched the footage and immediately called an emergency meeting. Within hours, Triple H appeared on WWE programming to address the situation. The seriousness on his face told everyone this was no ordinary segment. Triple H's announcement was firm and uncompromising. He stated that while WWE celebrates physicality and competition, there are lines that cannot be crossed. Attacking a defenseless opponent in handcuffs is not competition, it's assault. The game made it clear that such behavior would not be tolerated under any circumstances. Then came the bombshell announcement. Triple H declared that effective immediately, Brock Lesnar is suspended indefinitely from WWE. No matches, no appearances, no backstage presence. The Beast incarnate is banned from all WWE programming until further notice. The punishment was severe and unprecedented. Triple H explained his reasoning with clarity. He said that WWE must maintain standards and protect all performers. If Brock can attack a handcuffed Roman without consequences, what message does that send to the locker room? What precedent does that set? The suspension wasn't just about punishment, it was about maintaining order and safety. The WWE Universe reaction was split. Social media exploded with divided opinions. Some fans supported Triple H's decision, saying Brock absolutely crossed the line and deserved punishment. Attacking someone in handcuffs is indefensible. Those fans praised Triple H for taking a strong stand. But other fans argued this was just Brock being Brock. The Beast incarnate has always been unpredictable and violent. That's what makes him compelling. Those fans felt the suspension was too harsh and that WWE should let these two settle it in the ring. The debate has been fierce and passionate. Current WWE superstars have been weighing in too. Some publicly supported the suspension, emphasizing that there must be boundaries even in wrestling. Others remained silent, perhaps fearing they might be next if they spoke against Brock. The locker room response reveals the complexity of this situation. Let's analyze this from multiple angles. From a character perspective, this makes perfect sense for Brock. The Beast has always operated by his own rules. He doesn't care about authority, consequences, or what people think. Attacking Roman while handcuffed is extreme, but it's consistent with Brock's character as an unstoppable force. From Roman's perspective, this creates incredible storytelling. The tribal chief was humiliated and brutalized while helpless. That kind of attack demands revenge. When Roman recovers, his desire for payback will be all-consuming. This sets up their next confrontation to be even more personal and intense. From Triple H's perspective as an authority figure, he had no choice. If he allows Brock to attack handcuffed opponents without punishment, he loses all credibility. The suspension maintains the illusion of rules and consequences in WWE. It also generates massive interest. Everyone wants to know when and how Brock returns. The business implications are fascinating. Brock Lesnar is one of WWE's biggest draws. Suspending him means losing a major attraction temporarily. But it also creates anticipation. When will the Beast return? What will he do? The suspension makes Brock's eventual return even bigger than it would have been otherwise. This also protects both performers. Roman needs time to recover from the attack, which gives storylines time to develop. Brock's absence creates anticipation and allows other storylines to breathe. Sometimes absence makes the heart grow fonder, and this suspension could increase Brock's value. The length of suspension being indefinite is strategic. WWE didn't say 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year. Indefinite means it could be any length. This gives creative flexibility to bring Brock back whenever it makes the most sense for storylines. Smart booking leaves options open. Looking at potential return scenarios, the possibilities are endless. Does Brock return unannounced to attack Roman again? Does he come back, reformed, and apologetic? Does he return even more violent than before? Each option creates different storytelling opportunities. The legal implications within the storyline are interesting too. Could Roman press charges? Could there be a lawsuit? Will Brock have to meet certain conditions before being reinstated? WWE could explore realistic consequences that make the suspension feel more authentic. Paul Heyman's role will be crucial. The special counsel will likely try to negotiate Brock's reinstatement. Imagine the promos Heyman could cut pleading Brock's case or threatening legal action. Heyman's verbal skills make any storyline he touches more compelling. This suspension also opens opportunities for other wrestlers. With Brock gone temporarily, other main eventers get spotlight. Rising stars can step into that void. WWE's depth gets showcased when a major star is absent. This could be career-defining for someone who seizes the opportunity. The historical context is important. WWE has suspended performers before for various reasons. Austin, Punk, and others have faced suspensions that became major storyline points. Brock's suspension joins that lineage of controversial disciplinary actions that fans remember years later. Roman's recovery and return will be emotional. When the tribal chief comes back, the desire for revenge will be palpable. His first promo addressing the attack will be must-see television. The vulnerability of being attacked while handcuffed makes his comeback even more sympathetic. The eventual confrontation when Brock returns will be explosive. The built-up tension, the time apart, the lingering imagery of that brutal attack, it all enhances their next meeting. Whether it's WrestleMania, SummerSlam, or another major show, their reunion will be massive. Think about the match stipulations this enables. When they finally face off again, maybe Roman demands Brock's hands be cuffed for part of the match. Eye for an eye storytelling. Or maybe it's a no disqualification match where anything goes. The creative possibilities are exciting. The moral questions this raises are thought-provoking. In wrestling, where do we draw the line? Is attacking someone in handcuffs worse than hitting them with a steel chair? WWE is asking fans to consider where acceptable violence ends and unacceptable assault begins. This storyline also tests audience perception of heels and faces. Is Brock the villain for attacking a handcuffed man? Or is Roman the villain for whatever he did to get arrested in the first place? Good storytelling creates moral complexity where both sides have valid perspectives. The media attention this generates is valuable. Mainstream sports media loves controversial WWE moments. Stories about suspensions and attacks generate coverage beyond wrestling websites. That mainstream attention brings casual viewers to WWE programming. Social media engagement has been through the roof. Clips of the attack, Triple H's announcement, and fan reactions are everywhere. The hashtags are trending. This kind of organic buzz is exactly what WWE wants. Controversy creates interest, and interest creates viewers. Looking at WrestleMania implications, this suspension perfectly times a potential return. If Brock is suspended for several months, his return could coincide with WrestleMania season. Brock vs. Roman at WrestleMania with months of story behind it. That's main event material. The psychological warfare continues even during suspension. Brock doesn't need to be physically present to affect Roman. The tribal chief will be looking over his shoulder, wondering when the beast returns. That paranoia creates compelling television. This also sets precedent for future storylines. Now WWE has established that certain actions warrant suspension. This gives them a tool for future angles. Performers know there are consequences for crossing lines, adding realism to the product. Alright, wrestling vs. family, this is controversial and we need your opinion. Did Triple H make the right call suspending Brock? Was the attack justified given their rivalry? Should Brock have been punished more or less severely? Drop all your thoughts in the comments. If this breakdown helped you understand this massive situation, smash that like button. Subscribe to Wrestling Verse for updates on when and how Brock returns. Turn on notifications because you don't want to miss any developments in this story. Share this video with wrestling fans who love controversy and compelling storytelling. This suspension is going to be talked about for months. Let's get everyone involved in the discussion. Thank you for being part of this community. I'll see you in the next video where we'll continue covering this developing situation and all the incredible moments in WWE. Until next time, the beast is suspended but not forgotten. This is Wrestling Verse, and WWE just got very interesting. Peace out.